Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the Wild Rift patch notes for patch 4.4c. There's quite a lot to go through in this video. This new patch will be going out tomorrow. We got new champion, which is coming out in a few weeks. We got champion rework, which is coming out tomorrow, which is SONA, which I have all the details about that in this patch notes. We've also got champion buffs, champion nerfs, item changes as well. We're going to go through it all as always. I'm going to be letting you all know my opinions on the changes, what I think it will shift in terms of the meta. So let's head straight into this. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Remember to like the video as well. It's going to be an exciting one to go through. Right, first up is the new champion. We got Zyra. Now, I'm quite interested to see how Zyra is going to work in Wild Rift. My initial impression is that she's not going to be that good unless her numbers are out of this world, especially with the plants. I just don't think she's going to be that good. She doesn't really fit in the support meta right now. Support meta is pretty much around enchanters. There is a way in which Zyra can maybe get kill potential on them enchanters and maybe in a way try and get an advantage in lane, which can maybe look to snowball the effect into team fights, which Zyra can work very well in team fights thanks to her ultimate. But I know that some of her abilities have changed though. They're kind of different to what they are on PC League, and her plants work a little bit differently to how they work on PC League as well. So very interested to see how she works. She's probably going to be a support. I don't think she'll be a mid laner. I don't know. I think it's very all up in the air at the moment. Not too sure how she's going to work out. We'll have to see when she releases. As you can see there, she releases on the 22nd of December. Game mode, we have all random ultra rapid fire mode coming back. If you're looking forward to that, it's coming out December 8th, which is in a few days time. Right, on to champion changes. Ashe is getting another buff. I don't think she's been, well, she has been nerfed a few times, but they're trying to shift Ashe away from this man-immune Black Cleaver build and making her more into an auto attack damage carry. I think the problem at the moment is that she just doesn't do as much damage and she doesn't scale as well as some of the other carries at the moment. You think of champions like Kai'Sa, Xayah, Ezreal, Jinx, you know, you think of all these hyper carries and they just scale and do so much damage in the mid and late game, whereas Ashe doesn't do that much damage. They're trying to buff a few things, you know, ranges focus, they're increasing the attack speed by 5% at every level. Again, I don't think this will really do too much because most of the time you want to do you want to max your second ability first and then your first ability. Maybe they're trying to shift that so then people will prioritize maxing the first ability first because they buffed the attack speed and they also buffed the damage as well based on how much attack damage you have. So from 115% to 130% to now 120% to 135%. So just a 5% damage buff at every single level. Again, I'm not too sure if this is going to mean too much. Maybe we'll have to test it out. Maybe we'll have to test out trying out the ranges focus max first and see if that allows us to do more damage. But I just don't think so. I think she's just sitting in a spot at the moment that she's always been a utility AD carry. They're trying to make her into a more carry orientated carry. But again, just not doing it at the moment. So they're buffing her. We'll have to test her out. I still don't think she's going to be that good though, in my opinion. Fizz has been pretty dominant in the jungle. I think I have Fizz sitting in like S tier at the moment. I think Fizz is really good in the jungle. They are nerfing the passive. The damage to monsters is now gone from 105% down to 90%. So you're not going to get as much damage now in the jungle with Fizz. I don't think Fizz can ever be played in mid lane at the moment, unfortunately. I think Fizz's pretty much only role is the jungle. You can make Fizz work in the mid lane. It is very difficult at the moment though, especially against other assassins and also against mages, which are very strong at the moment, you know, that just outrange you and just out damage you in lane. So it can be very difficult to play Fizz in the mid lane, but Fizz jungle, a little bit of a nerf. Gwen's getting buffed to both her Baron lane and her jungle because this damage from her first ability, Snip Snip, doesn't get like lowered or anything like that by the jungle. So both Baron lane and the jungle Gwen is getting buffed, which is quite interesting. I think Gwen was already in a pretty decent spot, especially after her base stats got buffed a few patches ago. I think it was her base health and her base armor got buffed a few patches ago, if I remember correctly, which allowed her to get a little bit more survivability in the lane, which was quite nice. But they're buffing her damage even more. You know, you can see the the snip damage. This is per snip, so obviously you can gain more snips by auto attacking, so you're going to be getting quite a lot of extra damage now, especially because you're going to max this ability first, so you get an extra 2 damage per snip, and also plus 1% of your ability power, so you're going to be dealing a little bit more damage with your snips. And then also damage with the last snip is also going to deal a little bit more damage, again 10% base damage and 5% extra ability power. So I think this will help Gwen quite a bit. Maybe this will help her in terms of laning with Gwen, because laning at Gwen at the moment, she doesn't really feel like she does that much damage compared to other Baron laners. She's more of a scaling Baron laner that likes to join in team fights and does a lot of damage during team fights, but we'll have to see how she is. We'll have to definitely try her in the jungle as well. I think Gwen was one of my champions that I love to play in the jungle, but she basically got nerfed to the ground, so that's why I didn't play her in the jungle anymore. But maybe we'll have to try her out again, especially with these buffs. Speaking of junglers, Master Yi gets buffed again. I don't think this is going to do anything. I think Master Yi is just way too difficult at the moment. There's way too much crowd control in the game right now. It's way too difficult to snowball with Master Yi. Sometimes you can snowball with him, and sometimes you can get an early lead, which you can get an item advantage and use the item advantage to be able to carry. But to be fair, if that happens on most junglers nowadays, you could pretty much carry better with them junglers if you're ahead than Master Yi. So that's my opinion, Master Yi at the moment. I don't think he's that great, but again, I think Master Yi is going to be very interesting coming into the new patch. I don't think this will do too much though. Nautilus, a few buffs to Nautilus to his second ability. The cooldown looks kind of weird. It says max level 12 seconds. It says max level 11 seconds. I had a look in game quickly. This is basically the cooldown of the ability at every single rank. So it doesn't matter how many times you rank up your second ability is always going to be 12 seconds. And now it's down to 11 seconds. I'm not too sure why it says max level 4. It should just be 12 seconds down to 11 seconds, but hey, I mean, maybe that's a little bit a mistake there. But yeah, 12 seconds down to 11 seconds for the cooldown of the second ability, so you can use it more often. And also the shield now has more scaling with your maximum health, which is quite good for supports, because I think especially champions like Nautilus like to build items like Warmog's, Dead Man's Play. They like to build, like, stack a lot of health anyway, because health is, pretty good stats, and health has pretty good value in Wild Rift compared to like League of Legends, for example. That's why loads of players, especially supports, like to build health instead of going for like resistances, especially because Twin Guard is in the game as well. You just buy Twin Guard and you have enough resistances with one item, so you just need to build health anyway. So it's scaling more with maximum health is quite nice, so you're going to get a little bit more shielding with Nautilus, which is quite cool. Severe, I'm not surprised that Severe is getting nerfed. I think she is quite strong at the moment. The thing is, I think there's like strengths and weaknesses with Severe. Obviously, the big thing at the moment is that she does a lot of damage, a lot of AoE damage with Ricochet, so I'm not surprised that this is nerfed. I mean, every single time I join a team fight when playing with Severe, she does a crazy amount of damage with her second ability, with her bouncing. So no surprise that the bounce damage is being nerfed. On the hunt as well, I can understand why they're nerfing this. I don't think her first ability does a lot of damage at all. I think the big thing is Ricochet because of her wave clear as well. On the hunt, the cooldown reduction for basic abilities going down. I think this is okay. I mean, you normally build Navori anyway, so this doesn't really mean too much because Navori is going to reduce your cooldowns anyway, so I think this is okay. I guess before with Navori plus the cooldown on the ultimate was maybe a bit too much, so they're nerfing that down. Initial movement speed, extra movement speed, so nerfing the movement speed ever so slightly by 5% and 5%, so 10% overall. But one main weakness with her is her range. She's basically like Vayne in terms of range. She doesn't really have a long enough range. She is very, very difficult to pull off in ways because you need to actually walk fairly close to champions to be able to auto attack them. Yes, her AoE damage comes into effect. Yes, her movement speed comes into effect as well with her ultimate, but it can be very difficult because you do have to walk quite closely. But I think that these nerfs are warranted. I think that they definitely hit the right nail on the coffin in terms of nerfs. Yeah, like I said, her Ricochet damage was way too strong in terms of wave clear and everything. And on the hunt makes sense as well. So interested to see how she'll perform after the nerfs. I think she was in like a decent spot. I don't think she was like crazy broken. But I mean, I don't know. In China, she was insanely strong. So hey, we'll have to see. SONA, this is the big one. You can see here, there's a lot of things changing with SONA. Oh, it's yeah, this is a lot. This is a lot. I mean, some of it is just like numbers changes, but the big thing is like her passive changing and her ultimate changing. Right, let's move into it. So base stats, health per level. So health per level is going down by quite a bit. You're going down by 10 per level basically, so you're losing about 150 health at maximum level. So a little bit of a health nerf there, which is kind of scary for SONA because she's already fairly squishy. So them also lowering her health per level is also pretty scary at the same time. Right, her passive. So they've removed now that after casting a basic abilities 3 times, SONA's empowered attack will gain a bonus effect from the last ability she cast. So basically there was a thing where if you cast your like first ability, second ability, or third ability, your next auto attack will cause a different effect. The second ability, if you auto attack, you reduce damage. Your third ability applies a slow on auto attack, and your first ability just does more damage. They've got rid of that entirely now. There's no I guess there's no skill set anymore. I guess you could say. It's a bad way of saying it. Obviously that's kind of where like I guess the game is going in a way. There's no kind of skill set anymore when auto attacking after you cast 3 abilities. You know, normally you would be like, okay, I need to exhaust someone, so I need to use my second ability the third time to make sure I can auto attack and exhaust. Or you might need to slow someone, so your third ability, you make sure you use that third with the little bars of stacks. They don't have that anymore. Now it's just a basic passive that it doesn't matter what ability you cast third, you're just going to get a stun now. And also you're going to deal a little bit more damage. So after casting basic abilities 3 times, SONA's next attack will be empowered, dealing a little bit of extra damage, bonus magic damage, and stunning the target for 0.5 seconds. After casting basic abilities, creates a non-stacking buff aura. Wait, what? After basic abilities, creates a non-stacking buff aura. I'm guessing this just means like each one still has the each ability still has the buff aura. I'm not too sure why this is in the passive for. That's very, really strange. New CD or basic abilities will now will be reduced. Level times. Oh my, wait, they're actually base reducing the cooldown of every single ability. Are they nerfing the? They're not even nerfing the cooldown. Wait, so every single basic ability now will now be reduced depending on your level times 2%. That's pretty crazy, actually. Huh. Interesting. So we're going to be able to use our abilities more often, and this maybe means that we can use this passive more often as well. Wow, SONA's going to be pretty insane because you could already spam your abilities very, very quickly and already proc the passive of the you know, the original passive. Now with the new passive being able to stun, obviously the skill with the new passive now is making sure you auto attack the right target. You need to make sure you auto attack the right target. But with the CD of basic abilities now being reduced every single time you level, this means that you might be able to proc this multiple times during a fight. Like I'm thinking 3, maybe 4 times during a fight. That's pretty insane. And also you do a little bit of extra bonus damage, which is quite nice. Wow, that's kind of nice. I didn't know that this part was also part of the passive. I knew about this new passive part, but I didn't know about the cooldown of basic abilities also being reduced by your level times 2%. Very, very interesting. So yeah, I'm really excited for this new passive. I think this is going to give SONA a lot more power. Again, kind of the skill ceiling has gone. There's a new skill that's kind of come in with SONA, but I think she's going to be pretty damn strong. First ability, the mana cost has gone up. This is going to affect her quite a bit in laning phase. I mean, she already buys Boots of Mana and Archangel stuff anyway, so hopefully once you get them 2 items, it should be okay. But laning phase, it's going to cost you a little bit of extra mana to spam your abilities. The damage, though, has been buffed by quite a bit. 10 in the early game and 25 in the late game. Wow. Okay. And also, oh my god, and also they're increasing it by plus 20% of your ability power. Wow, so they're giving SONA, it looks like a lot more carry potential. Because you do bonus damage now with your passive, which is quite nice. You now do more damage with your first ability. Yes, the mana costs more, but shouldn't really mean too much. So the bonus damage of the aura effect, this has been nerfed. Okay, so they're giving more power to Sona herself with her ability, with her first ability, and they're reducing, or they're lowering the damage of the aura effect. This is what I mean by the aura effect. This is the aura effect, and this is the non-stacking buff aura for 3. I don't understand what this means. Anyway, bonus damage of the aura effect, this has been nerfed. So less damage over to the dual lane carry or the champion that you're nearest to. They're going to deal less damage now, but you are going to deal a lot more damage. So Sona has a lot more carry potential herself now, that she's going to be doing a lot more damage, which is very, very interesting way, because Sona's always been a type of carry that always stays with her team. She always builds kind of defensive items in a way. After she builds a lot of mana items, she just tries to keep herself alive with all the healing, the shielding. But now she's going to actually maybe back a punch now as well. Maybe she's going to actually start dealing damage. Very interesting change. Again, buffing the damage to herself, nerfing the damage to allies around her. Her second ability, the health regeneration, has been lowered by quite a bit in terms of the base value and also the ability power. And a bonus shield effect of the aura has also been reduced. So, wow, they've actually nerfed the healing and the shielding by quite a bit, to be fair. Okay. So again, this makes me feel like they're trying to make Sona more of a carry herself, rather than giving more power to her allies and relying on her allies more, if that makes sense. They're trying to give Sona more power to herself, making her stronger, but then nerfing everything that you give to your allies, so you don't have to rely on them too often. Nerf, pretty big on the second ability. And then you have the ultimate. So the ultimate, oh, I see. So they removed the reduction, so reduce 10, 20, 30% basic cooldown on your basic abilities. Oh, they removed this. I didn't read this part. That's why I was so confused with this. Okay, so they just removed this from the ultimate and they added this into the passive instead. I'm not too sure if this is more or this is more. I think this is just a base value. Wait, so 15. Oh no, so it's the same. Is exactly the same. But you just don't get a flat value now at every single time you level. So I actually think this is better, because the good thing about this is, like, say you're level 5, you get 10%, but say you're level 4, you now get 8%. Because this doesn't matter if you level up your ultimate or not. This is a new passive CD on your basic abilities. So whereas with your ultimate, every single time you leveled it up, it got increased in terms of her basic ability cooldown, so 10, 20, 30%. Now it depends on your level. So it doesn't matter if you're level 1, level 5, level 8, for example. Like level 8 gives you 16% basic cooldown on your abilities. Whereas the old passive on an ultimate would still only give you 10%, because you have to reach level 5, level 10, and level 15 to get 10, 20, and 30%. So actually, this is just going to be a buff overall, because you don't have to wait until the next ultimate level to get that huge massive boost of basic cooldown on your basic abilities. Now it's just stacking on your passive, which is really, really good. I think this is really, really good for Sona. Really, really nice. Remove the active, which is strikes a crescendo chord, dealing damage. Yep, we know that. So that her old ultimate is being removed. A new ultimate now has a new passive. The aura will be enforced for 20 seconds after casting the ability, providing a higher buff effect than usual. Aura will be reinforced for 20 seconds after casting the ability, providing a higher buff effect than usual. I'm not too sure what this means. Let's read the active. Okay, active. Plays a chord that emits a sound wave every 0.75 seconds as it travels to a target location. The sound wave deals 40, 80, 120 plus... Wow, they really nerfed the damage by quite a bit. I guess they nerfed the damage quite a bit, but now it does damage every 0.75 seconds. Now it's more damage over time rather than flat damage. And if you miss it, it's useless. Whereas this, if you miss it, it's not too bad, because you can do damage every 0.75 seconds. Okay. And stuns enemies hit for the first time for 1 second. This also probably means that it travels further as well. Enemies caught inside the chord are also slowed. Okay, I'm not too sure what the passive means. Aura will be reinforced for 20 seconds after casting the ability, providing a higher buff effect than usual. I'm not too sure what this means, because this is reinforced for 20 seconds after casting the ability. So unless this has an effect on your other basic abilities, because this doesn't seem to be to do with your ultimate. This seems to be to do with after you cast your ultimate. Yeah, okay. I'm not really too sure what this means. We'll have to obviously test it in game. I'm probably going to do a video on SONA as well. We're probably going to be testing SONA on stream. So, hey, make sure you check out the stream tomorrow, and then we'll see what she's like. But I'm a little bit confused with some of the changes that they're doing. This one makes sense now. This doesn't make sense. After casting ability creates a non. There's quite a few things that doesn't really make sense. Maybe it'll make more sense in the game itself. Maybe there's like a translation issue or something. I'm not too sure. Anyway, moving on. That took a long time to get through SONA. Varus is being buffed again. Now they're actually buffing his piercing arrows. They're buffing his attack damage, which is pretty big. You can see the base value of the piercing arrow has gone up by I say people say I say pissing arrow. It's not pissing, piercing. Piercing. I have a bit of a lisp, as you can tell. Pissing arrow, piercing arrow. Anyway, base damage going up by quite a lot every single level, going up by 10 damage every single level on the base value, which is quite nice since this is the ability that you max first most of the time. The attack damage is also getting a better scaling, and also this is the at the end of it. So if you fully charge your first ability, you are getting an extra 15, you'll just get an extra 15 damage if you fully charge. So this is basically if you just press the ability, and this is if you fully charge the ability. So if you fully charge the ability, you get so much extra damage now. It is crazy. We're definitely going to have to try Varus again after these buffs, because this buff is insane, by the way. Like, I don't think people understand how much poke damage Varus will be able to do after these buffs. Crazy. And if that wasn't enough, they're also buffing his second ability as well, which now scales more against champions that have maximum health. So before it was 4 to 5.5%, now it's 5 to 6.5% of the enemy's maximum health. Crazy. I mean, like, I don't know, like, they're really buffing Varus to the limit. Like, if Varus is not good now, I don't know how Varus is going to be good. I'll be totally honest with you. This Varus buff is pretty insane. Moving on to Xin Zhao, attack damage per level. So buffing it by 1 per level. So you're going to get extra 15 AD at level 15. A little bit of damage there. The second ability, the slash damage. You're going to get a little bit of a bonus damage buff. The base value actually hasn't changed. It's just the attack damage bonus. Same with the thrust damage as well. The base value hasn't changed. It's just the attack damage bonus. So more damage you build, more damage you'll be dealing with your second ability. Attack speed increase. This is a big one with Xin Zhao. Getting a lot of extra attack speed on your third ability seems really, really nice. Actually means that you can maybe try and look to max this ability now. Because I know a lot of people like to max the second ability first because it helps you a lot with your jungle clear. Normally you would max your third ability because the extra attack speed will also help with the wave clear, jungle clear. Actually, to be fair, I think most junglers will probably max your third ability first anyway with Xin Zhao because of the mobility and also the cooldown being lowered. Now with you getting like an extra 8% attack speed at max rank, that's going to be really, really big for Xin Zhao. I think this is going to allow him to proc his first ability more often, allows you to do more damage overall. I think these are some quite nice changes to Xin Zhao in the jungle. I thought he's already pretty decent in the jungle, to be fair, but this is going to just buff him even more. And Yone as well. So there's the thing with Yone, as I was reading through these patch notes, base armor going up is quite nice. This will help in laner phase. His first ability now deals damage to monsters. It says 80%. Now, I'm a bit confused because it says these changes will make it easier for him to trade with his opponents in lane and clear jungle camps faster in to join in on the fun. But as far as I'm aware, this percentage is normally to do with like 100% is normal, then above 100% is extra, and below 100% is less damage. But maybe they're like adding 80% damage. Like this doesn't really make sense. This whole percentage thing on damage to monsters is very confusing because some patches they change it, some patches they don't. Because like if you look at the Fizz one up here, for example, right, so it goes from 105% down to 90%. So that's just a nerf overall, or maybe this is just extra damage that you deal to jungle monsters. This is the confusing thing. Anyway, I'm guessing this is a buff to the first ability in jungle, because otherwise they wouldn't say clear jungle camps faster unless they're talking about the second ability, which the second ability, by the way, is getting a pretty huge damage buff. Actually, no, I think this is actually a nerf, because this buff is pretty insane. They're increasing the base damage on the second ability by quite a lot, and I guess to compensate, they're nerfing the damage on the first ability to monsters in the jungle. That's what I'm assuming, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess, in game. Base shield also going up as well, and also scales more with bonus attack damage. This got nerfed pretty much to the ground, like for multiple patches, so they're buffing it back up again. I'm not too sure if this is fully reverted to how good it was at the start, but yeah, Yone getting buffs is quite nice. I think Yone is completely fallen out of the meta, both in jungle, baron lane, mid lane. Like, the champion just isn't that great at the moment, doesn't really do that much damage. And then after we look at the earth changes, you're going to see that there is also another buff to Yone in a way. All these earth changes, you can have a look at them. I don't really care about earth personally. You can pause and look at earth stuff if you want to, but there is one final change that is coming in this patch. Look at this buff to Solari Charge Blade. I mean, Solari Charge Blade at the moment is not built on any champion at all. Every single champion would rather build something like Magnetic Blaster, Phantom Dancer, basically any other attack speed item, but now they're reducing the cost by 100, and look at the extra bonus, that like the extra bonus magic damage you get now. 12, well, an extra, basically you'll get an extra 12 damage, because it's extra 12. Your lowest damage is 12, and your highest damage is now an extra 12 as well. And you have to remember that this passive can also crit as well at the same time, so you're going to be doing a lot of extra bonus damage now with Solari Charge Blade, and with the cost going down by 100 gold. Ooh, I don't know, it's going to be pretty insane. I think this buff is going to be really, really nice. You know, I think this plus the Kraken buffs plus like Lucian being buffed as well, like, could be pretty insane. You know, I'm talking about the Lucian buff and the Kraken Slayer buff from before, but this could be really, really interesting, I think, when it gets added in tomorrow. There's a lot of things that we'll have to test tomorrow. SONA rework, Solari Charge Blade buff, Varus buff, Ash buff. Like, there are a lot of things to get through. And obviously we've got the new skins as well, the new Wild Pass skin, Coven Evelyn, and then Coven Zyra. So yeah, really, really exciting to see all of the patches come through. I think the patch notes overall and the patches have been pretty damn good. You know, I think, you know, praise where praise is due. I think the patches overall over the last few patches have been really, really good. There's been a lot of changes. It's definitely tried to shift up the meta. It's given us a lot of content to go through as well, us a lot to play through. Really, really exciting times ahead. Hopefully you enjoyed this run through of the patch notes. If you're excited, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you check out my stream as well. Link will be in the description below, because I'll be streaming all the changes to these patches tomorrow. But yeah, as always, take care of yourselves, have a good rest of the night, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care. Peace.